How's it going, everybody? This is Ruby, and welcome to another Feed the Beast tutorial. So guys, today we're going to be taking a look at RFTools dimensional things, how you can make new worlds and crazy stuff. It's awesome. So, here is pretty much all the machines you'll use. There's a few missing, like the workbench and stuff, but that one you'll use much later on. I just kind of want this as a getting started tutorial. You know, all the later stuff I want you guys to figure out on your own, you know, because it's more fun that way. So guys, one of the first things you guys need to do is you're going to need to make, whoops, I did not want you to go there. You need to make this RFTools dimension manual. So it's crafted like that. It's just a book in 4 redstone. Super easy. Now, anytime you guys get stuck, this thing will help you out, like all the machines, some theory behind all of this, you know, what to do if you get stuck, and all of what some of the different machines do, but I'll go over them today for you as well. So, here's some of the things you will need to get started. Let's get them down here. So, just to go over all this real quick, this is a dimlet template. One of the main things that you use this for to craft some of the craftable things, like being flat terrain, being a controller single, sky normal, all that stuff, and with the times and stuff like that. So how these are crafted, let me go ahead and show you, is if we take a look at RFTools, here are dimlets. Now think of this like each dimlet is a part of the world. So you have your biomes, which biomes will occur in the world. You have controllers, so this would be like dry stuff and things like that. You can also control how things are done, like a checkered board pattern for your biomes or just a single biome. Your materials, look, block of gold, emerald ore. You can see they get kind of crazy expensive to do, but if you can do it later on, why not, right? And you got liquids as well, so you can get like molten ardite and all that fun stuff. I am doing this on the Infinity Pack, so if you guys don't have some of this, that's why. I might have some more mods than you. Or you might have more than me, who knows. You can control what kind of mobs spawn in there, your sky stuff, your colors, your time, your effects, your structures. There's so much stuff. Really, just search for stuff, and you'll see what you want to build. So let's get started with some of the basic machines. After you use this template and you craft some of the stuff, you'll need some of these other things, but we'll get to those here in a second. So this guy here is the machine Infuser. So this guy is pretty useful. Whenever you create a RFTools world, this stuff will not spawn in the overworld or anything like that. It looks a little something like this. It looks kind of crazy, almost like a bedrocky diamond. So whenever you mine that, you'll get these dimensional shards. Now these are what's used for different crafting recipes for some of the later machines, as well as for some other stuff, like infusing. So what does infusing do? So each of these machines, if you look up there in Wyla, like up there, you can see infused 0%. Now infusing will make everything more efficient. So you usually want to do this after you have some dimensional shards under your belt. So to basically, all you have to do is put some dimensional shards here, and put your machine there, and it's going to start infusing it, and you'll see it 1%, 3%, 4%, 5%, 6%, and so on and so forth. It will take 4 stacks, I believe, to fully infuse a machine, so it's pretty expensive to get it going, because 1 stack will only do 25, so, you know, another one 50, another one 75, another one 100. So keep that in mind. You will need 4 stacks just to do 1 machine. But once you quarry it out or go mining a lot, you'll get these pretty easily, especially if you fortune 3 them. So this next guy here, the Dimlet Researcher. So how you get these unknown dimlets is, there's a couple different ways. You can get them mainly out of chests, in dungeons, or in dimlet worlds. There's certain buildings that spawn, but we'll get to that here in a second. Or what I've gotten the most from are endermen. I've just set them up in like an auto spawner and killed them with a grinder, and it works amazing, and you get lots and lots of unknown dimlets. So each of these unknown dimlets is an actual dimlet. So if we throw one in there, we can see, oh, we got a kelp forest. Let's do another one. Where did it go? Oh, there it is. The stone beach, sky-colored green. Yeah, sky-colored green. A canyon biome, the nether biome, and the chaotic dimlet. Probably don't want to use that one. And look, there's even the mob. So this is how you kind of build up your collection of how you can build worlds. And some are more rare than the others. So you can see right under the name is rarity, and they kind of go from 0 all the way up to 6. So if we take a look at some of these crazier ones, you can see, and the more maintain cost, and basically there's a create cost and there's a maintain cost. Basically, the create cost is how much RF per tick it's going to cost you to create that dimlet, or create a world with that dimlet, and it also has the tick cost, so that's how many ticks you're going to have to pay in the beginning to create it. And there's the maintain cost. This is how much RF per tick it's going to cost you for this dimlet to be in that world constantly. So if you added this block of gold dimlet, it's going to cost that world an extra 25,000 RF a tick just to run. And that's not even including everything else that you have to add in there, like your biomes or anything like that. So as you can see, that one's a rarity 5, and it's super, super expensive because, you know, there's not a lot of these around here. Now, some of these guys are craftable. You'll be able to see that by their rarity. So if we take a look at that guy, you craft it from that, and you craft it from that, and so on and so forth. And you can eventually craft some of these with just regular items. So that's how you can get all of your dimlets for stuff. Now, if you have some dimlets that you don't want, like, I'm not really going to use these biomes, these are kind of lame, right? So you can use the dimlet scrambler, and you throw 3 random discovered dimlets in here, and you'll get a random one. A little progress bar, and boom, we got a digit 2, which is pretty cool. And if we wanted to maybe get like, that was cool, but let me go ahead, I don't want these either. And you will end up with a lot of extra dimlets, trust me. We got a Taiga Hills, okay, cool. So, you know, that's obviously not very good either, but we can move on from there. So after you kind of get your dimlets and you're ready to make a world, well, what we want to do is let's get all of this out of here, and boom. So I've prepared a world. Now, I'm going to link something in the description to the author's page that he made up, and it pretty much goes over a lot of easy worlds to start with, like a void one, a lava, or fuel dimension, or a mining world. So this one uses a bunch of dimlets just to make sure that everything is controlled. So we got a material none, a liquid lava. This is going to make a liquid nothing but lava world. We got a terrain normal, controller single, biome ocean, sky, 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 all normal stuff. Mob default, effect none, feature none, structure none, and time noon. And you're going to need some of these empty dimension tabs. This is where this is going to come in handy. So to craft those, that's the crafting recipe. And you're going to come to the dimension inscriber. And you're going to put one in there, and you're going to want to name the world, just so that that is not just a blank name. You kind of want to know what world you're going to, right? Unless you just look at the ID and you remember which one that is. So let's name this world Lava World. So what you're going to want to do then is start dropping all of the dimlets into here. And you can use as many as you want or as little as you want. You could only use 3, but the mod's going to automatically put in some dimlets for you that you may not want, honestly. So it's always better if you can tell it what to use it. Now, one thing to keep in mind for some of these controllers, like for example, if this was a material, as you can see, everything in here has tooltips. So I highly suggest just hold shift when you're looking at anything from this mod. And you can see there's a modifier for terrain, tendrils, canyons, orbs, liquids, and origin. So if this was, say, a liquid, and I had a liquid modifier, you could all do all kinds of things, like how this is the liquid lava. So yeah, it kind of makes sense. So you always put it right before the thing you're trying to edit. So we're going to store that world. It's going to turn it into this crazy Rubik's Cube looking icon, and you can see what our final thing is. And you can also see how many dimlets you put in there. And you can see this one's going to cost us 81,000 RF a tick to create. So I've got another one in here for now. Let's take that one out, and let's get that one to start building up. It's going to take a little while. But yeah, you can see it's going to cost us 81,000 RF a tick to create, and then it's going to cost us 30,000 RF a tick to maintain. So pretty expensive. So this one I have here, this is a mining world. This one's pretty cool. So say we forgot to add something to it, like, oh man, I just created that world, but I want to add a time to it. Like for example, let's add a time noon to something. So it's always noon. So what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to create the world so that you actually have power in it first. And it's beyond the creation, like you've already made it. You're going to put it over here, and then you're going to give it a time. Now, it is important to know that that you can only do this with certain dimlets, and this is why we always refer back to the manual. If we take a look back here, Dimension Editor, see, this only works with special, mob, effect, sky, and time dimlets. So we couldn't change biomes or anything like that. So now this guy actually has the time. So, pretty cool. And this guy is still creating. And this guy has an internal buffer. It's pretty large. So, This guy's still creating and creating and creating. So let's grab another guy here. And let's bring some power up to it. Whoops. Where did that go? No, thank you. And let's put in this guy here just to make sure that stays fully charged. So this is our mining world. Now we're going to learn how to go to these guys. So it kind of varies. What you can do is you can use other methods of going there and coming back, or you can use all the RFTools stuff yourself. So if you want to use just RFTools, you want to follow this pretty closely. So the first thing you're going to need some matter receivers and transmitters. So there's the receivers. They're always yellow, and these guys are always kind of a cyan blue. So how to craft these dudes? Pretty simple. You know, just a machine frame, which is that, and some of the ender pearls. So you will need some ender pearls getting into this mod. So I suggest getting your enderman spawner going for the unknown dimlets, as well as getting the ender pearls for all these guys. So what you need to do before you go to a world is you need to have a way back. So if you're going to use another mod, that's cool. If you want to use RFTools, there's a couple things you'll have to do. So you want to get a transmitter, and let's name this guy Mining World Transmitter. Okay, I spelled that right, don't worry. You can also set it to private if you don't want this to show up on other people's dialing devices. So we'll set this guy to public since it's just a single player world. And you're going to come to your dialing device. So this is how you set the transmitters to go to receivers. So there always has to be another receiver where you want to go. So for example, if I just wanted to go between these 2 points, I just step on here and boom. And you could just step right there. So you can use these for interdimensional travel, but mostly you're going to probably want to use these for going to different worlds. So I'll interrupt that dial, and I'm going to tell this mining world transmitter to go to the base receiver. And whenever we step on it, boom. What you're going to want to do also is grab a wrench. I just use these Certus ones, and shift right click, and you're going to pick it up, and it's still going to be dialed. As you can see by the tooltip, it says dialed. And you can also see the name. So you're going to want to bring this with you to the world, as well as a way of powering everything. So for this, we'll just grab a energy cell, and let's grab a flux duct. There we go. So that we can power the receiver in the remote world as well as the transmitter, because these guys do take power every time you use them. So this guy has, let's see, 200,000. Let's redial it. That would probably help, huh? And you can see, oh, come on. You gotta catch it quick. Oh, it's recharging too quick because we've got infinite flux ducts on it. But let's go ahead and let's head to the mining world. So we'll dial that, and you can see it turned yellow. So we have here is a destination analyzer. So this is made like that, and basically this will tell you if it's safe or not to go to that dimension. I highly suggest you make this first just to make sure you don't die as soon as you go in. So yellow means that the world is not chunk loaded. Green means it is chunk loaded and it's good to go. And red means it is not powered. Do not go to it. Red will kill you. So let's go ahead and venture into the unknown. Ooh, here we go. There we go. So here we are. We are in our new world. Look at it. It's all flat and crazy. Let's go ahead and refresh that. So here's the receiver, and this is the one that you're always going to transfer to whenever you transport to the world. And you can see we're already down 5,000 RF. So remember that transmitter that we dialed earlier? You're going to want to put that down, and this is how you can get back to the overworld or anywhere that you want to go. And you also want to make sure that you give it any power to go out, because these guys will take power to send you back and forth. So there we go. We got that fully charged again. So we're all good. So this is the world you've created. Now this one is obviously very stable because we told it everything that we wanted to. And this is just one of the dimensions that the mod author gives you on that page that I was telling you about. So in these worlds, you can randomly find some buildings. Let's see if we can spot one. Because these buildings, there's one, you can see it, the item frames. So this is another awesome way to get dimlets for your worlds. We got two actually right there. So these little buildings spawn all over the place. Pretty much you just want to get a jetpack or a hang glider or something and fly around. But they also contain some of the cool blocks from this mod. So in here, you'll find 3 dimlets, and they're already identified as well. here on the wall. So whoops. So like we can see we got a biome, we got another biome, and then in these chests you can find unknown ones, as well as already identified ones. So you can see we got some there. Let's go check out over here. There we go. So like see we got a savanna, flooded cavern, cobalt ore, that's pretty cool if you use tinkers a lot, an eerie dimlet, and then we got a bunch of unknown dimlets. So you can see just already we've gotten like over 25 unknown dimlets. So it's pretty easy to actually get some of the new dimlets that you need just by creating a world. Now, you can actually create a just plain world. So, to do that, basically you just take the inscriber, and let's get a tab. Oops, click on the wrong thing there. Hey, gimme. There we go. So you want to take one of these guys, don't put any dimlets in there, and just store it. And this will create you a random world. So we'll put that guy in there. And this is basically how you're going to want to start. So boom, we've got that all created. So let's use our dialing device again and go to that world. So you can see it doesn't have a name because we didn't tell it to. So we didn't follow our own advice from earlier. So let's see what this world contains for us. Okay, so here's our random world. I've just loaded in. So you can already see we've got some crazy stuff going on. Looks like it's an islands terrain. And is that pink stained clay and endstone? Like you can just see some of the kind of crazy worlds that you'll get with this. And these are fluid orbs. These always contain fluids. It looks like these contain water. Yep, water. And you can just see some of the kind of crazy stuff. Like here's some pink, white stained clay and endstone. Not the greatest blocks in the world to build with, maybe, but still pretty cool. Now, whenever this guy does run out of power, you can get some effects. So that's why you always want to make a dimension monitor. Pretty easy to make. You just want to save some of your unknown dimlets, and you can see how much power your world has. When you run out, or you're about to run out, you'll start to get some negative effects, like you'll die, wither and poison effects, and all kinds of crazy stuff. So this world's pretty cool. You'll obviously need a jetpack for this because it's nothing but void under there. Yeah, this guy works very, very, very well. So what you can do is you can even take those and then use them in the workbench, and let's get one. So we take this workbench and we put this guy down. This guy takes power, so we have to put that in there. And let's grab that world, and you can do all kinds of stuff. You don't put that in there. So we'll take like one of these guys. Which one of these will go in there? There we go. So a savanna plateau. And you can even deconstruct these into the dimlet parts. But I'm going to let you guys figure that out on your own because this video's already ran on long enough. But you can do some pretty crazy stuff with this. So hopefully you guys have learned something. One thing I did forget to mention is this guy here, this phased field generator. So in case the world does die, like for example you make one of those worlds that take 100,000 RF a tick to create, kind of like this guy, and you run out of power, you can actually charge these up and it'll give you a temporary kind of allowance of time because it'll kind of put a field around you so you can get your stuff. So that's one way that you can rescue yourself, but you will obviously need some experience in a world because you need these guys as well as stuff like that. So hopefully you guys have enjoyed. If you have any questions about this, I know it's kind of crazy. It's a lot of information to take in. So if y'all had any questions about this, feel free to leave it down in the comments below. I'll be happy to answer any questions that you have. If you enjoyed this video, rating, subscribe, anything that you'd like to do is always welcome. And I will see you guys next time. Bye-bye.